For the instructions, we're going to take off the sway bar island first, followed by the bracket, and then move the harness out the way for the speed sensor. Then we're going to take out these two bolts. 1, 2, counter hold it. So this upper nut, 7mm, 8mm, sorry, and this nut here is a 17. You counter hold this and then take off the 17, or vice versa, you hold the 17 and then run this one in. We'll take it off either way. Upper bolt, 19mm, and a 24mm wrench. That's what you do to take these off. That's what you use to take these off. Alright, separated the lower bolts, the lower strut. Got the sway bar link off. So now we're just going to undo the 313s on top, and this whole strut should come out. Here are the upper 3 strut bolts. They are 14mm. Take those 3 off. The strut will come out. From the kit, this will go on like this. And then we'll use the factory mounting strut bolts on the top. Put them here and tighten those down. For the upper strut, I just kind of grab the screwdriver, use the round part so it doesn't knot the threads. That way you're able to counter hold it. Just put these nuts on. That way you can put pressure, hold the screwdriver this way, and put pressure down to tighten the strut without it moving the whole upper assembly. Okay, here's one of the brackets on the instructions. There's a nut that goes here, 14mm, same one right here. So I want you to remove and loosen the front subframe bolts without taking them all the way out, so that it has a gap like this. So on this side, I already took it off. So it'll sit like this. Right side R comes out. I want you to take it out. The front subframe bolt is supposed to be loose on there, so you can install the spacer. And in the pictures, this is the nut that goes on, and this is the one they want you to cut off. So here's that nut. Cut off the excess of it, and now I'm going to take that nut off and install the spacer for that. So here's what that spacer looks like when you install it on that thread. That stud that was cut off, you just use this, screw it on, and then use a 22mm. Tighten it up, leave it on there snug. One of the spacers, this one right here, is going to go here in the front subframe. Once it's lowered down enough, you'll be able to get it and slide it in. Best to slide it in from the side, this way. Once you pull down, pry down a little bit on the subframe, and you'll be able to slide this in. Otherwise, if you go this way, you got this weird angle and it won't fit, whereas this sideways, it'll fit better. I got the lower control and spacer hardware kit and the subframe spacer. So I got this bolt and this bolt with the washer. And so I put the bolt there with the washer, the other bolt there with the washer. Here's the spacer that we installed with the stud, with the factory nut. So that's going to go over here. So this bolt goes from here, and this bolt's going to go right here. And that other nut spacer is what this looks like before cutting it. This is what it looks like when you cut it after. Screw that spacer on. So I took up the front panel. Installed these other 1/2-inch spacers. So this is what it looks like. The bolt and the washer. The spacer goes in between the subframe and the steering gear rack. So there's 3 of them. So you'll be able to see that those 3 spacers that are 1/2-inch, there's only 3 of them in the packet. Those are the 3 that go to the steering gear. So what I did was I removed all 3 bolts all the way up. I took them out about half thread where they were still in there, raised up the rack, took one bolt out first, slid the spacer in, put the bolt in, moved on to the next one, because you're supposed to discard each bolt as you remove them. Alright, so for the front subframe, because the instructions don't really specify too much, on the picture I did notice that those 3 little rivets were on one of the pictures. And I want you to install these on the front so you can slide it in, because the front has a stud and you won't be able to put the circle one in there the whole way. So that's what these spacer ones are for. So back here, we're going to put these spacers on, slide these in here. That's what those are for. So I've got the front lower control arm. So in the picture it shows red bushings. On the package, the only thing I saw that was 4 with these black ones. Hope that's it. Put a washer on the bottom bolt, washer on the top nut. Ran them through the pointing up as it says in the manual. Did that for both sides. The black spacers. Nut washers. So now the brackets that it has shows them installed like this. This ledge comes out the bottom and it makes the hole higher for the sway bar end link. So when the sway bar end link tension is down, so essentially when it's loaded, this will go down and it'll fit in that hole. And you bolt that up. So starting at the rear, I remove these 2 bolts that go over here to the lower control arm and the lower shock tower. They're 2 19mm bolts. Just took them all the way out. Now I'm about to lower the rear spring. Lowering it slowly. See the rear spring expanding. Coming down. Going slow. There's the lower control arm and the shock tower separating from the car. The jack is no longer supporting it. Hold on to this. Now the spring should be free. Just take it out from the lower part of the rubber insulator and the upper. Also forgot to mention that the sway bar end link, you have to remove that nut to lower the control arm all the way down and take out the spring. I took the jack off and it didn't go all the way. I needed some more space, so that end link is holding it up. So I got the rear shock out. The adapter spacer goes like this. You use the OEM bolts that you took off of the shock, put them here, and then the 2 that these bolts are going to hold, they're going to screw into this, and that's what's going to be used for the shock now. And then this little cup, it's going to go this way. On the upper part of the spring, and then this rubber insulator that comes stock is going to sit like this on top of the cup. So you just reinstall the spring like this, and very important just to make sure that you install the end stop of the spring right there on that rubber ledge of the grommet. What I mean by that is this part right here is going to meet up with this edge right here. So here it is installed. Here's the upper brace bracket. Here's the 2 bolts that come in the kit with the washers. These are the OEM ones that go to this bracket. This one faces inward, this one faces outward. And then here's the upper spacer installed. And then here's the lower spring. Inside the catch that I was talking about.